Hey guys, it's your legal bestie, attorney Symone. I am back. We are going to be watching the afternoon testimony of Jane and analyzing it, breaking it down. Oh, I got my little beverages. I need to take me a quick little lunch break, y'all, because this morning, that Phyllis this morning, I just really don't. I was very perplexed, I'll say that, by where the prosecution is going with this and why. So let's go ahead and add Inner City Press updates. Let me know where you guys are viewing us from. Oh, shoot. Here we go. It is so loud. Okay. Here we go. I hope you can see it bigger there. All right. So where we left off, Jane was detailing what it was like when she read Cassie's lawsuit. And she was explaining how basically emotionally tolling that was for her, because y'all, New York is so loud. So my apologies on that. But it was so emotionally tolling for her because she realized for the first time she wasn't the only one doing these freakoffs. It seemed like she was thinking that Diddy was just using her for freakoffs while he was whining and dining Coercion and others. But apparently that wasn't the case. Her, Cassie, I'm sure Gina was doing freakoffs and others. So, all right, it says, Your Honor, this is going to be a place for break. They come on back. And now the hope is that they'll get done with her on direct today so that the defense can start going to town on her. Lord, we got to pray for her. Okay, it says, Jane says, I was commenting about the girlfriend of another rapper, and I said, oh, she's so beautiful. Was this rapper an old friend of yours? Yes. I had flown to Vegas. Hold on a second. Can we get some context? Hold on. Let's go back up. I want to give you more context. So prior to that, it said Sean's voice. Oh, and I got to be Diddy. Okay. Sean said, I don't even know how I said it before, but Sean is basically going, man, you know, what you did ain't right. You know what I'm saying? I can't talk on this phone. I don't know what the F is going on. I need you to support. You got me that video thing? He said, what did you mean? She said, the mobile TV, I got him. Mobile TV. Now, mind you, he's freaking out, spazzing out because the Cassie lawsuit just became public. Jane says, I was commenting about the girlfriend of another rapper. I said, oh, she's so beautiful. Was this rapper an old friend of yours? Yes. I was flown to Las Vegas. There was a birthday party and we went to a strip club. I recognized Anton. Anton is one of the male hookers, y'all. That's one of the hookers. She says, the other night, other than that time, had you ever seen Anton other than on hotel nights? No. This friend, was it platonic? Yes. In the hotel room, Anton was having sex with a woman. The rapper and his girlfriend were there. There was flirting. Wait. I hate when people say stuff like that. There was flirting. Who did the flirting, girl? Who was it? Tell us. Were you flirting? Is this your way of not taking accountability? All right. Anyway, I'm not going to be hard on her today. It says, how were your finances? Oh, so y'all just going to change the topic. Okay, whatever. How were your finances in January 2024? Now, mind you, I get the transcripts at the end of each day, so I'll be able to fill in the gaps tomorrow. How are your finances January 24? Better. I decided to do an OnlyFans. What kind of content did you create? Lingerie, swimwear, implied nudity. What's that? Your hand covers your body. I wanted to stand on my own 2 feet. And sorry for looking away, but that's where my new screen is at. All right. Yes, it says, yeah, Diddy is so. Yes. So remember, previously, the theme that it seemed like the prosecution was trying to go with was that, oh, poor thing. She was being emotionally coerced, financially coerced, because he carried the purse strings of her $10,000 apartment, and that he wouldn't let her do OnlyFans where her homegirl was making $4 million a month, even though he didn't know that's how much she was making. And lo and behold, January of 24. Now, mind you, this is before he gets locked up. He gets locked up in September. Okay, y'all. OnlyFans. That's right. So yeah, it was better. I decided to do an OnlyFans. What kind of content? We just said lingerie, swimwear, implied nudity. I was also getting child support and some money from Bear. I advertised his brand on my social media. He offered me money. He just sent it to me. How much? $9,000. He said, if you want to post for my brand, do. It's no big deal. I got some money from Bear. Who the hell is Bear? I guess we'll find out. Sean messaged me. He had a dream about me, that I was on the Concorde. Why did you answer him? I missed him dearly. He said, so what you want to do on your birthday? I said, I'm traumatized by my past birthdays and what they led to. What did Sean write? He said, if you change your mind, I miss you. Stay happy. Love. What did you write? That I'm just being mature. I don't think I'm ready to see you. Did you see him for your birthday in February 2024? Yes. Yes. Oh my God, we're not shaking the astroglide on this one, girl. You sound crazy, girl. So wait a minute. You tell him, you said, I miss you dearly. Or you told him, you said, I miss him dearly. So, and he asked, what do you want to do on your birthday? And you say, I'm traumatized by my past birthdays and what they led to. And his response is, all right, if you change your mind, let me know. In other words, that's what I want to do for your birthday. I want you to get booty butt naked for your birthday. Booty butt naked for your birthday. Get booty. He was clear is the point. Next. Did you see him for your birthday in February 24? Yes. How was it? In Miami? It was in Miami. Okay. Sean had candles. My heart was beating super fast. And I think his was beating fast too. We were oddly in the same color. I thought that was nice. What happened at dinner? Oh, a 5-course dinner. And then we used ecstasy. Then Sean asked, do you want to see Dawn? What was your reaction? I was high. I said, okay. Me and Dawn had sex in 1 star. Then we rested a couple days and then we flew to LA and we were back together again. Okay. It's your birthday. You tell him you've been traumatized by the freakoffs. He says, call me if you change your mind, i.e. and want to do a freak off. You're only supposed to call him if you want to do a freak off. Do not call him if you want to go to church. Do not call him if you need to go to the hospital. Call him if you want to get booty butt naked with the Mandingo warrior where your boyfriend can sit in the corner and masturbate to it. It says, okay, let me catch up. Okay. All right, we're going to catch up. Got it. So then it says, where did you... All right. A lot was... Okay. Then it was in 2024. Where did you visit Miami? And in 2024, where did you visit Sean? In Miami, in May, July, and August. And at my residence in LA a couple of times. Did you and Sean go out in Miami and LA in 2024? No. Things had really hit the fan. A lot was going wrong in his life. The press was after him about Cassie's lawsuit. With which entertainers did you have sex with in 2024? Anton, Don, Larry. We stayed in the residences. There was a lot of focus on Sean elsewhere. I showed him how lucrative OnlyFans was. Sean was putting on music and he went to my phone. He asked me, who's Bear? Why are you texting like this with him? The money thing came up, that Bear had sent me money. He started getting dressed. I started crying. I felt misunderstood. What did Sean text you? He wrote, what's going to happen if I come over tonight? I said, do you want me to be alone? I can arrange that. In other words, Sean was coming to her house. She said, I can arrange that. I wrote back, he was supposed to see his mother in air quotes. I meant another woman. He wanted a party. In other words, Sean texted and said, "What's going to happen if I come over tonight?" I said, "Do you want me to be alone? I can arrange that so they can have quality time." He wrote back that he was supposed to see his Mama Combs in her wig, in air quotes, which meant another woman. He wanted a party. Okay. I love that he put mother in air quotes, kind of let her know like, hey, I'm lying to you, but leave me alone. What did Sean ask? He said he wanted me to sign something for him so he could have closure. I thought he meant like, so I wouldn't be a threat. Had you ever sent him a demand letter? No. Sean said, you're making your own money. What did you reply? I said, I am working on paying off my debt after being on call and unfocused. On call is like his call girl hooker. How do you go into debt when you're dating a millionaire who gave you thousands? Objection, sustain. What did you write? I said, I'm tired. You can't even make it to the 2 years without bringing it up to me. What did he say? Bear, my colleague. I said, I hate living in fear. The roof over my head was just going to come off. Oh my gosh. So I'm tired. You can't even make it to the 2 years without bringing this up to me. Oh, the 2 years is in, he was supposed to be paying her rent for 2 years because she had already dedicated 2 years to their relationship doing freakoffs and stuff. Jane then asked, did you tell Robin, that's his accountant, to cut it off? He said, you make your own money. Did he continue to pay your rent? Yeah, he kept paying. Did you learn his houses were searched? Yes. And HSI came to my house. Oh. Remember what I was telling you guys earlier this morning about her custody dispute? The last thing you need is HSI at your house if you're battling for custody with your baby daddy who gives you the child support you live on. Who hired you a lawyer? Sean. I knew it. Is Sean still paying for your lawyer now? Yes. Did you talk to Sly after the 2024 searches? Yes. He called and said he had a tape and he intended to release it bit by bit on the dark web. I asked Sly how he got the video. He said Sean picked up his phone and recorded with it. I asked Sly/Cabral how much he wanted. He said $10,000. I told Sean Cabral just tried to extort me. Sean was crying. Oh my God. What did he say? He said, get legal on it. Oh God. Okay. So Cabral was trying to extort them. Okay. I thought maybe Cabral and Sean were colluding, but it sounds like no. Let's keep going. Did you speak with Cabral? Yes. I told him this was sextortion, not extortion, sextortion, and I would not talk with him. Then a media company called me and said they bought the tape, and did I have a comment? I fainted. We had to control the situation. Did the media company ever publish the video? No. Do you know why? No. Then the hotel video of Sean and Cassie came out. I was with Sean in Miami. How did you first learn of that video? Well, there was a knock at the door. Sean was called out. I went down and everyone was talking. It was a 2-star. What happened? I think at 2-star is the location. I don't really know. It says it was a 2-star. It says, what happened? Sean was huddled with his team and his family, and I was just giving everyone space. Later, we had a huddle. His sons were involved. Huddle for what? To come up with an apology. He showed me a draft of what he would say on social media. Did you read it? He addressed Cassie by name in the draft I saw. I felt it was more heartfelt. I thought it was good enough. Did you talk later one-on-one with Sean about the video? Yes. He said that Cassie hit him too. Then I was told that KK was coming and I had to go into the other room. I did, and I went back to LA. Do you recognize this? Yeah, it's Sean's apology. All right, let's do a refresh. See what else we got. All right, video is played to the jury, not on the public screen in the gallery. Sean, disgusting. I have asked God for his mercy and grace, and I am truly sorry. How did you feel about it? I was disappointed. I felt there was no heart. Sidebar, judge, sure. All right. Jurors, you may take a break. The jurors leave. This was 6 minutes ago. Y'all were almost caught up. Judge, Miss Comey, can I get a proffer as to relevance? Miss Comey, if I can't compare the drafts, I'll strike the last question about comparing the drafts. We want all those questions stricken. I advise not to name Cassie as she might be a grand jury witness. So, privilege. AUSA, our next questions are about Combs' violent assault on Jane and forcing her to be intimate with an entertainer while still injured. It goes to state of mind. I told you, I said they need to come with it. I said this lady needs to get knocked in between the washer and dryer or something for it to be more similar. Okay, we getting there. We getting there. All right, let's keep going. Hit that like, y'all. Hit that subscribe when you come in. Don't forget, you can go to my website, SimoneRedwine.com, to schedule a consultation with me. I think Symone was a child act. I actually was a child actress. Yeah. Uh-huh. All right. Poor people shouldn't be flying. Poor people shouldn't be flying prostitutes in. I think I agree with that. All right. Let's see. Okay. We're going to do a refresh. He said, I was advised not to name Cassie. Oh, they are hot. They mad over here. All right, let's see. All right, we still waiting 5 minutes ago. Okay, so it looks like what they're arguing about. How did you feel about it? I was disappointed. There was no heart. Okay, they're talking about the different drafts of Sean's apology, I guess implying it wasn't that sincere. It wasn't heartfelt. It wasn't sincere. Then it says, here we go. The next questions. It says, I was advised not to name Cassie as she might be a grand jury witness. Hold on. Let's process this. So, privilege. Wait a minute. Order in the court. Here's what that likely means. That Cassie might be a grand jury witness. Y'all. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize this was not on the screen. Hold on. This is wild. I'm so sorry. Yeah, they are on a sidebar. It says, I don't want these problems for Nice Trips or a house. We all knew it wasn't sincere. They're saying she wrote it. But y'all, here's what this means. This statement here that says, so what's going on is the defense doesn't want Cassie discussed, named. It says in this case, it says as she might be a grand jury witness. What that sounds like is there could be more charges coming for someone else. More charges coming. Because why else would you care about a grand jury? At this point, if it's only Diddy, the grand jury would be over and done with. Right? The grand jury is who indicted Diddy. But remember, I said there are sealed co-defendants. There are sealed there are other co-conspirators. So perhaps what could be happening, hit that like, guys. Hit that like and hit that subscribe. What could be happening is that since KK won't be testifying in this case, they may be taking her case to the grand jury. How you like me now? That's what it sounds like. I thought he might have meant not to name her in the apology video. No. That's Agnifilo. This is an argument right now between the defense and the prosecution. And they're arguing about, this looks really weird, the admissibility of, or arguing over the fact that it was that the prosecution, so like here it was, arguing over the fact that they just referenced Cassie. because it says Combs Agnifilo. I advise not to name Cassie as she might be a grand jury witness. So privilege. AUSA. Well, our next questions are about Combs's violent assault on Jane and forcing her to have sex with an entertainer while still injured. So it goes to state of mind. So they're going back and forth basically about this evidence that the prosecution's trying to get in. Sean's IG apology. And what Comey wants to do is compare drafts of the apology, you know, probably to show somebody else wrote it and he ain't that sorry. Whereas Agnifilo is like, hey, I don't want this to be discussed because, see, I don't know. The only reason, let's see, if she's a grand jury witness. Oh, I know, because with the grand jury, they're likely going to take the testimony in this trial because it's all under oath. So when there's testimony under oath, you can use it in other cases. So they're likely going to take testimony from this trial, likely, for example, against KK and or D-Rock, we don't know. Take that and they're going to use it in the grand jury. And so for whatever reason, they didn't want Cassie's name referenced because Cassie will also be a grand jury witness. Finally, they took long enough, right? Finally, we're getting somewhere. Yes. Facts. Dre, Keith, Diddy need to be free. Ebony says, I give thanks for my peaceful life when I hear issues like this. Child, talk about. So she was never in fear of Diddy leaking her tape. Well, they haven't gotten to it yet because my assumption was going to be that Diddy, hit that like, guys, and hit that subscribe, was going to be that Diddy would threaten at some point, get mad at her and threaten to leak one of those tapes to a baby daddy and anybody else. Because people who record stuff like that, yes. Now, initially, he tried to act like, oh, yeah, this is just our little X tape. This is ours for our movie nights. You see how he tried to normalize it all? He called it a movie night. Here, let's see. Keep hitting refresh. A movie night. You know what I have at my movie night? Kettle corn. Kettle corn. Okay? Not a prostitute. I don't have prostitutes on my movie nights. And I certainly don't get pounded by 3 to 4 gentlemen. But let's talk about what we expect to hear on direct for as some of the testimony we expect to hear for the rest of the day. Hold on. Can I do this? There we go. Yay. Okay, I'm going to put both of these on my screen at the same time. You guys should be able to see that. All right. So in addition, what we should be, yeah, there we go. Is that like, it says Attorney Symone. Oh, I missed it. What did you say? She did say that he would show it to her baby daddy. Yep. Okay. Well, I reread the opening statement, and in the opening statement, they did talk about blackmail and that he blackmailed both her and Cassie. Hold on one second. Let me write myself a note. So he's just a blackmail queen. I call him a queen. He is a queen. He just be blackmailing everybody. But I think that's why he doesn't want to be in any of his ex tapes. He just records them. It's likely because, yeah, he doesn't want anybody to be able to blackmail him the way he does others. Where is my little sticky thing? Yes, no. I bet she will file a civil suit too. So oh yeah. Her having custody with her son is like, now that if he starts messing with her custody, that's coercion. That is coercion that matters. This, I'm not going to pay your rent and you're going to have to get a job. No, ma'am. It's okay. A job never killed me, not once. I've had one since a childhood. You'll be all right, just like the rest of us. In fact, my mama got 2 or 3 jobs. She's all right too. Yeah, you said you just heard it in the transcript. Got you. She's going to get destroyed on cost. So it appears that he did attack her. Yes, here we go. All right. Yes, I read the opening, and in the opening, all right, I'm going to go ahead and let me put up, I'll go ahead and share with you guys some of the transcripts from the opening. Opening statement. All right, so we got some opening statement here. What is wrong with this TV? When did Diddy blackmail her? There's no record of that in her testimony. So let's go to it in the transcript. We're just gonna hop to it. Let's see. Control F. It's at page. Wait. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I was in the wrong one. Okay. Let's do. Let's see. It says. Okay, so page 39. All right, we're gonna get to it. Let's see. We're going hop on down. There's a line here. So what I went through this and I just highlighted the sections about Jane because I refuse to believe, like, the prosecutors are very smart. And I was just like, yeah, there's no way. There's no possible way. Which one is that? 39. Okay. There's no possible way that they're simply going to use this like financial coercion theme without something stronger. So he does, because I was like, look, on the first day, I was like, listen, we hadn't heard nothing about him knocking her around, like, get to it. And I felt that kind of testimony of force, is taken even more strongly as it relates to jurors trying to contemplate as trafficking. Force is the testimony that will have them riveted. So I was surprised that they didn't drop at least some examples of that prior to the weekend, so that it could have been fresh on the jurors' minds, and it would have been the last thing that they talked about. I said, this case isn't about her. She's just a witness. The case is about Diddy and his actions. No, yeah, I know that, but each different claim has to get proven up. Thank you. All right, so here we go. All right, so here it says, obviously this is a prosecution, and they're saying, you'll see, this is related to Jane, you'll see dozens and dozens of text messages about freakoffs, including messages from the defendant to his staff asking for more cash to pay escorts. Messages where the defendant tells Cassie what substances to take and when before a freakoff. And there's messages from Jane to the defendant telling him over and over again that she did not want to do freakoffs. And you will see videos of some of the freakoffs, the videos the defendant used to blackmail Cassie and blackmail Jane. So that's what's coming up this afternoon. Those videos captured just small parts of these days-long performances, as she calls it. In them, you can hear the defendant providing direction to Cassie and Jane, and you'll see Cassie and Jane do exactly what the defendant tells them to do. You'll also see them put on a performance high on X, where they pretend to enjoy themselves because that's what the defendant wanted. Hold on. Let me take this off. All right, and then this is opening statements. I'm reading this off while the parties go back and forth debating the admissibility of some evidence they're trying to get in. It says, you'll see them on a performance, hi, blah, 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 blah. You'll see for yourself the defendant's violence in its aftermath. You'll see video of Cassie and da-da-da-da. You'll hear from witnesses who saw Cassie. At the bottom, you will see photos of the damage the defendant did when he kicked in 4 doors at Jane's home. And you will see videos of Jane with bruising still on her face. Ooh, bless her heart. Days after the defendant attacked her and forced her to do a freakoff not even a year ago. She said the most recent was August of 2024. So I wonder if was the forced one. All right, so this is the opening. This is the testimony that we're looking to see. Now, it says, drop down below. It says, you'll hear recordings of phone calls when the defendant called Jane after Cassie filed her lawsuit. You'll hear him. You'll hear him try to manipulate Jane into saying that she wanted to have freakoffs. You will hear him interrupt Jane when she pushes back. You will hear the defendant's thinly veiled references to continuing to pay for Jane's home in exchange for her silence. You will see the text messages the defendant sent to his chief of staff right after talking to Jane to make sure that Jane's rent would still be paid. Oh, we getting juicy. That's what we need to see. I don't need to hear no more of this talk about this rigmarole and her planning times with prostitutes. Tell me about how he knocked you in between the washer and dryer. That's what we want to hear about. I don't want it to happen, but I need to know about it so, this man can go to jail. All right. Then it says, oh, yeah, okay. The evidence will come in piece by piece, and it won't always be in chronological order. It says, but by the end of this trial, when you've seen and heard all the evidence, you will see how it all fits together, and you will see how it proves that the defendant led and controlled an enterprise that enabled him and others working for him to commit many crimes. How it proves that he forced and coerced Cassie and Jane into acts with male escorts, including by having them travel to other states and countries so that the acts could happen. And you will see how all these crimes and the empire the defendant controlled were designed to fulfill his actual desires, to protect his reputation, and to keep his power. Listen, I need y'all to see that, because I've been trying to tell these people, the part of the reason Rico is easy to prove under a situation like this, y'all, that part in the red is important. That's because with Rico, we already know he has an enterprise because he has a business. So then you have to show that he uses some, doesn't even have to be all of them, that he works with some of his staff to commit offenses. And they have to work. A lot of people are like, oh, but they're not doing it for a profit. A profit is not required. Instead of a profit, what is required is that they've got to be working together for a common goal. And I've told people this, and they're like, that can't be the goal. All right, whatever. Go back to Google Law School 101. The goal literally can be to keep him happy, to make him feel like king. So that's what it says here in red. Specifically, this is opening statement from the prosecution. You will see the crimes in the empire controlled were designed to fulfill his actual desires, to protect his representation, and to keep his power. That is sufficient. Doing this crap to make him happy is a sufficient common goal. So next time you hear somebody be like, well, they weren't doing this for money. Don't have to. Don't have to. It just has to be a common goal. Oh, also, let me just check on the tweet, see if we got any updates. Let me see if we got any updates. All right, they're going to bring the jury back in. All right, it says, let me switch it back up. But also, it's important to note this about racketeering. Racketeering is slightly different from Rico. He's charged with racketeering conspiracy. So what that means, here we go. So what that means is all he has to show is that he was in agreement for somebody to do whatever they did. So a lot of people with the arson think that he had to prove arson. No, sir, no, ma'am. You don't have to prove arson. All they have to do is provide reasonable doubt that he was totally okay with someone blowing up Kid Cudi's car. He was aware of it. He was okay with it, and or conspired. All right. Yes, they are. Says C3U says, I like how y'all love talking about law school, but last time I checked, the jurors are average people who are tasked with applying the law to the charges and the evidence brought forth. Well, the reason that it's significant to have a legal understanding is because the jurors are going to have to use these facts, as you're saying, and they're going to receive something that's called jury instructions, right? And the jury instructions are going to it's going to say whatever the law is, blah, blah, blah. And it'll say that, like these are the jury instructions from R. Kelly case. Okay. They're super long or whatever, but they're going to have, literally, they have like specific questions that they have to answer. So when I'm talking to you, I know what those jury instructions are going to look like. So when I'm saying, oh, well, they haven't presented proof of this or that, it's because they ask specific questions. Like, for example, this is for R. Kelly's case. Did he participate in the crime charged as something he wished to bring about? Or did he associate himself with criminal venture knowingly and willfully? Things like that. They really handhold the jury. So anyway, we'll go back to the updated tweets. But the reason that a legal understanding is important is just because I have it's like I have a checklist in my mind, and I'm able to like hear testimony and be like, ooh, wait, they hadn't covered this or whatever. That's all. I don't think I'm smarter than anybody else. All right, let's pull this down. It goes both ways. Where are the fathers to teach? The jurors are guided. Y'all don't know how your government works. This is embarrassing. All right, bringing the jury back. Here's what we've got. I don't know why it looks like that. Okay. Comey says, I can play the video again and avoid any privilege issues. Judge, okay, bring the jury back in. All rise. Apology video is played again. So it sounds like all they're trying to do is play the apology video without saying Cassie's name. Whoop-de-woo. Like they don't know who he's apologizing to. Apology video is played again. It says, I was effed up. I hit rock bottom. I sought out professional help. I'm going to therapy. I'm going to rehab. Sir, you're not very good at rehab. Because keep in mind, y'all, when he was arrested in September, he was arrested with drugs and freakoff materials in his hotel room. AUSA Jane, what did you understand that he was referring to? The hotel elevator lobby video. The next time you saw him was June 18th of 24. Where did you see him? Home in LA. Date night in the house. Jonathan came to help set up. I think Jonathan's security at this point. What did Jonathan do? He put some candles around the house, decorated with red lights. He made the environment cozy. Was the plan to have an entertainer? No. I wore a long brown dress. I opened our patio, which was a really nice view. Mind you, it's $1 million house. I love this response. When she said, was it planned to have an entertainer? No, I wore a long brown dress. In other words, when she has entertainers, she wears lingerie. She be booty butt naked. So she ain't booty butt naked today. That apology was comical. I couldn't stop laughing. It was so transparent. You know what? It is below. Let's see if we can play it. Let's see if we can play it. We might as well. Oh, I thought I had just seen it. Man. Maybe not. Yeah, that apology video. He looked cracked out now. He looked like he was definitely doing something. Doing a little refresh. She said, no, they weren't supposed to have a freak off. She was wearing a long dress. Long dresses aren't for freaking off. Those are for wholesome movie nights. If someone gives you $20 million, can you, what does it say? They can be as nice as they want. Apology wasn't for Cassie. It was absolutely. That apology was damage control. Yes. Because what was just really wild to me, it looks like he was in Bali. Astroglide 304. Oh, shake the Astroglide. But what was really wild to me is I don't understand. It sounds like, oh, y'all, there's 1,700 watching and we've only got 400 likes. Can we please get those likes up? Oh, they said the apology is still on his Facebook page. They say in church, them long dresses go up too. Oh my gosh, you so nasty. In light of this case, when you go back or review videos that he made or that he was in, he looked geeked out most of the time. He really did. Yeah, he looked rough. Rough, you hear me? All right, let's go back. Let me see. Let's see if we got any updates. If not, I'm going to read some more from the opening statement about Jane specifically. Because, all right, we're still what? Okay, let's. All right, so this is the opening statement about Jane. I just want to put it up because the prosecution has been slow rolling it. Hit that subscribe, guys, as you come in and hit that subscribe. The prosecution was slow rolling it. And I really wanted to get an idea of like where they were going because I was getting frustrated. I was like, y'all, this doesn't sound like a good idea because they spent the first 2 days on such weak arguments, which I felt the financial coercion was weak. Y'all, she hasn't said how much she gets in child support yet. She said her income was child support. In January, she started doing OnlyFans and that Diddy is still paying her rent. $10,000 a month. All right. Here's what else we have. There we go. Okay. Now, y'all, I thought this was interesting. This is about Jane, and it's from opening statements. I got to read it to you. This now is from Mr. Garagos. It says, so, as we said, you're going to hear from two women, Cassie and Jane. This case is in large part about his actual relationships with these women, and you're going to hear that they went to private hotel rooms to engage in what I expect some witnesses at this case will call a swingers lifestyle, which is essentially just a fancier terminology for threesomes by adults. But you're not here to judge him for his actual preferences. You're not here to judge him for all purposes. You're here to evaluate whether the government can prove beyond a reasonable doubt what they actually charged him with. They can't. You've also heard that in his relationships with both Cassie and Jane, he bought them things. Yes, like every relationship, they got things from their boyfriend. Here, a wealthy rapper paid for their housing. He paid for Cassie's car and he gave him money. These are nice houses that he paid for. It was a nice car that Cassie drove. And they were nice vacations on private planes because he's a wealthy individual. These were vacations that they took together as couples. And as I've said, like every relationship, there was jealousy and there were flaws. They did not stay with him over and over again because of force, fraud, or coercion. This is the defense's opening. It says, the evidence in this case will show you that instead of force, fraud, or coercion as being the reason they stayed, it says it'll show you that over and over again, day and day after, these women fought to be in a relationship. They fought to do what they wanted to do in a consensual adult relationship. I was like, oh. Now that's interesting, Mr. Agnifilo. Now, then it says this. This was interesting. The government also talked to you, y'all. I'm just going to read it. This is how I know that cross-examination is about to be a beast. Sorry. The government also talked to you a lot about Jane. She is the other woman that the government alleges he trafficked. She was his girlfriend of 3 years. And she comes into his life several years after the Cassie breakup. I think you'll find in the evidence it's a little bit different in 2010 and 21 than when he was dating Cassie. The most important reason you'll see is that he was more upfront about his dating life. Rather than saying that he was only dating one person, he was very upfront with Jane. I expect her to tell you he was dating multiple different women. She did. However, as I started my opening statement, this did not stop the jealousy. Jane's relationship with Combs was plagued with jealousy. Their relationship was not the 11-year public romance that Combs and Cassie had. The problem is that Jane wished that it was. The government told you their relationship was not public. You're going to hear from Jane why that was. And there were many reasons why that was. Jane is also older than Cassie was when Cassie started dating him. And she was living her own life in a different state, raising her child. She is a capable, strong adult woman. And you're going to hear that pretty soon after her relationship with Combs started, he brought up the idea of whether she would want to have sex with another man. Again, like a consensual threesome. And Combs would watch. She agreed. And they went to private hotel rooms away from his employees, away from family. And I expect that she will testify that she enjoyed that night. She laid down on the couch after and said to herself, like, wow, I can't believe I just did that. Y'all, that's exactly what she testified. This is opening statement cross-examination about Jane exclusively. I'm not reading the whole thing. And you'll see that Combs really began to love these hotel nights with her. And I expect she'll testify she began to do everything possible to make these nights incredible for Combs. That includes finding the best male entertainment to join them, to wear the outfits he would find the sexiest, and saying all the things during those nights that would excite him. She did this because she loved him. Here's a highlight of this page. It says, she was desperate to spend time with him, to be with him, and ultimately to give him something none of the other girlfriends that he was dating at the time were giving him. The defense says she will tell you she tried many times to change the tenor of the relationship from one of a purely sexual nature to something maybe deeper or more meaningful. But she will testify that it always came back to what they'd call parties, which were these nights in hotel rooms. And the evidence will show you that she did it over and over for 3 years because she made the choice. And this became their time together. This became their ex-life. And I expect she will testify that she realized that if she didn't have these hotel nights with Combs, they may not get their alone time together at all, which is time she so deeply craved. Now, she did say that over and over. He's now saying she did it for the affection. She did it for the love, for the cuddle, and because she knew it would make him happy. She actually says that frequently in her testimony. And she wanted more than anything to make him happy. She was unable to resist him emotionally, and her desire to be with him outweighed all other consideration of hers. It says, and then it says, the government told you about a phone call they had in November of 23. The evidence will show that even after this phone call, she continued. That was a call where basically, like, I guess they were trying to make clear amongst each other, hey, like, I have other girlfriends, you know, quit being clingy. Yo, but check this part out, y'all. This is my favorite. It says, the government is going to show you a toxic, dysfunctional relationship between these two individuals. And you may think to yourself, wow, he's a really bad boyfriend. But that evidence is going to show you that she is a capable, strong woman who willingly engaged in their ex-life so they could spend time together. That is simply not as trafficking. It says, and she will testify she was a willing participant. And being a willing participant in your own ex-life is not trafficking. She will also testify there were nights she engaged in the ex because she hoped she could turn their relationship from one of a sexual relationship to something more. And she will testify that if she walked away, she would have lost him. And that is not something she was willing to do. All right. Go back, check these tweets. Y'all. And that's just, obviously, and that's just the, you know, that part is the closing, the opening statement for the defense, right? There's some for both. There's more for the prosecution as well that I'll share. But let's get this update. All right. So what did Jonathan do? It says, he put candles around the home. Was the plan to have an entertainer? No. I wore a long brown dress. I opened our patio, which has a really nice view. Did you two get into an argument? Yes. We had champagne and some tequila. I started confronting him about who he was with on his family trip to Utah. What did you say to Sean? I said, you are a pedo. He was 25 or more years older than her. Y'all. Oh, Pola Tink Tink. She ain't getting it, y'all. Tink Tink ain't getting it. Order in the court, little Tink Tink. Oh, shake your Astro Glide. She's not okay. This girl is unwise. All right. So she says she called him a pedo because the girl was 25 years younger than him. I wonder if it was Lori Harvey. Jane said, I said, if a girl can't buy her own drinks, what makes you interested in her? I believe she was under 21, but older than 18. Yes. So I pushed his head into the marble. Girl, you hit it. Okay. Y'all. She smacked this man's head into a marble. I'm guessing it was a counter. Marble. And then what? And then I started throwing candles and glass. I was angry. Whoa, she said, I pushed his head into the marble. And then I started throwing candles and glass. I was angry. What were you angry about? You were angry that he had a younger woman who you felt you couldn't compete with. Are y'all seeing this? Help me. That is assault. See, there that goes. Yolanda said that's a lie. Yolanda, honey, what's a lie? This is her testimony. She is saying, yes, she got physical. But wait, I need you guys to process this. Context matters. She did this after the beatdown video of Cassie came out. She was never scared. Oh, this woman has zero fear. What part is a lie? Yolanda, tell me, honey, what's a lie? She admitted to assaulting the man and throwing things at him. She just said it on the stand. Yes, she said she hit him. She smashed his head into the marble. How did she say it? I'm going to say it exactly like her. She pushed his head into the marble, and then she started throwing candles and glass everywhere. She was angry. Mind you, she did this after. Thank you. She did this after the Cassie beatdown video came out. I would be so frightened to get this man there. A marble counter. Yes. A marble. Hello. Now y'all see, y'all, some of y'all drag me real dirty. You drag me real nice, real nasty. Talking about, I was on the red pill stuff. I saw that this wasn't going to be a good idea. Yes, HS says, did she want to lose her life? That's what I want to know. So now you're admitting assault. She sure was. She was jealous, not victimized. Jane needs Jesus. It says Jane is not helping. Elizabeth said it in a way that was funny. I get it. Jane needs Jesus. We need to put that on the screen. Oh, no, let's keep it up there. Elizabeth, yes. Why would she admit this? Too darn much. Oh, so that is DV. We got our DV, y'all. We got the DV in this case. The DV is here. Jane needs Jesus. I'm going to write that down. Jane needs Jesus. So do I. Yeah, I guess we got some little DV in here. Lord, it says she hit him. Lord, it's going to be a mistrial. See, okay. Now it's making sense, y'all. I said, when you have a kung pao punch of something like trafficking, right? Where it can be proven by force or something physical, you lead with the physical. You show how frightened, because that physical is going to make someone more frightened than, anything else. So you lead with that. So on day 1 and on day 2 of testimony, there was nothing physical. Myself and other legal analysts in that courtroom were like, where are they going with this? We literally what is the charge? What is she here to help prove? Now I see why on day 1 of direct and day 2 of direct, they did not want to talk about the physical. because she started it. She tried to knock that fella out. No, don't get me wrong. I would certainly be mad at this man too. Somebody said she's ruined her own argument. I told y'all earlier, I was confused and wondering if maybe she was working with the defense to come up there and throw the case off the hinges. That's right. That is assault. Yes. Somebody said Jade is working for Diddy. She got a Tina Turner on. You know it's out here for a P. Tequila ain't no joke. That is true. Jane is working for the defense. I am convinced. All right, let's go to the rest of let's go back to the tweets. I just had now it makes sense. Does that make sense to you guys now? Why they didn't come out the gate like they did with Cassie talking about the abuse? Because it sounds like it was mutual combat. Sounds like she started it and the diddler is going to try to finish it. All right. Lord have mercy. Y'all hit that subscribe as you come on in. We just had the bombshell where she acknowledges she pushed his head into a marble counter. She picked up a bunch of candles and glass and she was angry and she started throwing them everywhere because she found out that he was on a trip with a girl who was like 21 years old. It was like 21, who was so much younger than her. So her competition is younger and is getting a trip and she goes bonkers. All right. She says, I started throwing candles and glass. I was angry. He was probably cursing and calling me crazy. I wanted to lock myself in the master bedroom. Did Sean touch you? Not yet. I locked the bedroom door, but he kicked it down. And then he kicked down the bathroom door, kicked it off the hinges. Ooh, what else, girl? Tell us some more. Tell us some more. What else did he do? All right. Kicked it off the hinges. He kicked his way into my closet. I tried to run, but he kicked me and he put me in a chokehold and I went to the front door and to a wall and I walked 6 blocks away. I walked 6 blocks away. How long did you hide them? 2 hours. And then when I went back, I saw Sean. Oh, give us more. I can't wait for Armand to act this out tonight. It's going to be so freaking good. So he kicked his way into her closet. Now, mind you, she shoved a man's head into a marble table and starts throwing glass and candles. Why? Because he's on a date with the youngin'. She finds out, I guess from social media, he's on a date with some girl on some island somewhere. And the excuses Diddlers make him so crazy. He's on an island somewhere and he's with this girl and she is upset because at this point she still has only been taken to Turks and Caicos 2 times. And the second time she was made to work her vagina like an Olympic wrestler, like a vaginal wrestler. And he made her do a vaginal triathlon. Jesus, Lord. Somebody said the excuses diddlers make for him are so crazy. Somebody said, does anyone know if being bipolar is a defense that can stand? How long ago was this? Y'all, this was after, it appeared, this was after the video with Cassie came out, honey. So she knows his strength. Why are you surprised, Miss Ma'am? Yeah, we killing you today. Hit that subscribe. Tiffany said, I just snorted my drink through my nose. Tiffany, what did Tiffany say? I want to see Tiffany. Y'all hit that. All that for a man with a Tootsie Roll. Ain't that right, Yolanda? Defense is going to shred baby Jane apart. Yes, on a family trip to Utah. Sorry, you're right. It wasn't an island. Thank you for helping me. He let that girl on a family. I bet sexy Mama Jane has never been able to go anywhere with the family. In fact, Jane talked about, the only time I heard her reference being around his family was she was with him when the Cassie tape dropped, and his family apparently had immediately come over, like his sons and stuff like that, to do damage control and to figure out what to say and what to do. So how come everyone else be afraid of security? Cassie hit him too. Did security stop that? Why couldn't they leave? Cassie did not hit him frequently. That's not correct. The security said it themselves. And oftentimes the problem with security, yes, of Olympic vagina, security would stand back and let him whoop on her. And sometimes if they felt like it gotten too much, they would intervene, but other times not. Said he didn't make her do anything. Unfortunately, Diddy was right. She is a little cray-cray. Toxicity all around. Y'all killing me. She's a vaginal wrestler. That is what she is. This is a hot, greasy mess. It was in 2024. Somebody said, I'm never going back to Turks and Caicos. Y'all, this was just last year, okay? When I tell you her strategy was to be the last woman standing voluntarily. Voluntarily. That's different. It's going to be hard to get to coercion when she's literally like, I know you have all these girlfriends, I'm better than them, and then gets upset that he's giving them more quality time. I have never seen someone more yearning for quality time. My Lord. My Lord. Let's see if we got to refresh. We need an update on this one, child. They better not. Oh, no, they better not end the day on this one. Oh, we got action, y'all. We got action. Okay, with some more. We got some more. Wait. No, we don't. Doggone it. Off topic, just asking, how did nobody slip and skip through the baby oil? Oh, I'm sure they did. But this lady, so Jane just testified that she was livid because she discovered he took some girl who is 25 years younger than him on a family trip with his family to Utah. And she saw, y'all, can y'all just be super sleuth? Let's figure out who that girl is. Especially if it was last year. Who could this girl be? Lord, this is a mess. Yes. A vaginal triathlon is still my go. Vaginal triathlon. It was bad. And do flips on the high bars with the huge BBD. Woo! Y'all, remember he lied and he said the hotel was the only time he was violent. You are right. However, no, guys, it does look like, so that's kind of what I was getting to. Let's see if there's a refresh. Based on the opening statements, it actually appears that the violence, okay, we got some more here, that the violence was initiated by her. So let's see how that factors in. It says, she then says, Sean kicked in the bedroom door. I was throwing glasses and candles at Sean. I shouted, I hate you. He started punching my head and saying all kinds of things. Ooh. Ooh. What kinds of things was he saying? That I was trying to keep him away from his kids. I said, no, but he kicked me on the ground. I was balled up, and then he grabbed me by my hair and my arms, and he dragged me to the back of the house. What was he saying? That I was fucking crazy. I kept saying, just leave me the F alone. Alone. We're in need of an update. It sounds like they were a bundle of fun, I can tell you that. It sounds like it was really a 1-2 punch going on there. The part of this story that I like, just this one component here, because it truly is like sad and terrible, but I like that she's really giving it to him. I like that throw that candle at him, girl. Get a little piece of glass in his eye. At that age, he'll have a cataract for life. Get that glass in his eye. Mm-hmm. Sure will. To be a fly on the wall. Good for her. Next time, keep your hands to yourself. Yeah. May this romance never locate me. She thought she was in a real relationship. Girl, ooh, Ellie said you was working for shelter. Listen, I need you to know how bold this lady is to slam his head into a marble countertop, right? After you've already seen the Cassie video. Baby, you must really work out at that gym, honey. And she didn't even take out running. Well, she did. She did run into the closet. When she got in there, she said she did that, and then she started throwing glasses and candles at him. She was never scared. Scrippa hit him with the ad lib. Take that, take that, take that. Oh my gosh. Keenan, you are cutting up today, boy. Wow. Oh, that's right. That's her partner, remember? Exactly. So where was the baby oil? Somebody said that's not a crime. Busted to the right white meat. She was out here for the money and the lifestyle. She was no shrinking violet. I mean, I think we can all agree she would never have done freakoffs for a poor person. Oh, that's Jade. Oh, let's see what Jade looks like. Come on, let me go be messy. All right, Jade Ramsey. Because Jade Ramsey, oh, no way. This little white girl? That can't be. Well, yeah, is this little Caucasian lady? I suppose. Y'all think it's her? Yes, y'all hit that subscribe, please. Never heard of her either. Head to the marble table is attempted murder. No, it's not. Oh, she could be biracial. She could be. I see why I took her to Utah. She looked like that's where she's from, bless her heart. She looked like she'd be very comfortable there. All right, it says, riddle me this. That finds out her guy is in the alphabet community and stays exhausted. Look, I've dated a man. I've definitely dated men who are about 49% gay or less. Okay. I've grown since then. So now my threshold is 32%. You cannot be over 32%. Well, we'll say 29. 29% gay is my limit. And in the end, I don't care. As long as you don't ask me to do butt stuff, you don't do butt stuff, and you don't date any boys while we're dating. Because life's hard, and I don't know, if you're wonderful and you can help me with my hair and pick out my clothes, then I just want to have a happy life. Wrong name? Okay. Yeah, this didn't look like her. Raimi. Thank you. Raimi. Yeah, I said that don't. Here we go. Oh, she's an internet personality. Now that's more like it. Yeah, that's his type. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Oh, yeah. Bless her little heart. That was some competition there, boy. And then internet personality, he likes women without jobs. That way they can be available. I wonder if she was freaking off too or what have you. Hit that subscribe, guys, as you're coming in. Hit that like. We are catching up on the tweets. Okay, we got an update. Yes. So what is a woman that finds out her guy's in the alphabet community and stays exhausted? Leave me alone. Thanks. All right. She then says, what was Sean saying? That I was effing crazy. I kept saying, just leave me the F alone. And I called the girl. I called her. And I thought Sean was with, I called the girl that I thought Sean was with, and I asked if she was on the trip with Sean. She said very insulting things. And then Sean, he held me down, so I had to listen. Oh, I like that strategy. Hold up. Wait a minute. Oh, he said, oh, you want to be messy? You want to know? All right. You're going to find out what you don't want to know. How about that? How about that, sister? He says, oh my gosh. I called the girl that I thought Sean was with and asked if she was on the trip with Sean. She said very insulting things. Then Sean held me down, so I had to listen. What did you do? I told her to shut up and that he was whooping my tail. Girl, what did you think she was finna do? What did you think was gonna happen? Did you think that this lady was gonna come to your rescue? Power Ranger style? Go Power Rangers and come help you? You just called and confronted her. This man is whooping your tail because you smashed his head into a marble table and then started throwing candles and glass at him. And then had the audacity to call his other girlfriend when he done told you 11 times. He has told you 11 times you're not his only girlfriend and will never be. Not look. Our critical thinking skills are subpar. Ma'am, if Kim Porter, who bless her heart, deceased, if she couldn't be the only woman, you think your skill set is going to get you there? No, ma'am. This is just all right. We gonna read the rest of this because this is just really goofy. So prosecution, why are you doing this? Why? Who told y'all this was a good idea? All right. So then she says, I told her to shut up and that he was whooping my butt. Sean hung up. And then he told Jonathan to tell me that he wasn't with no girl on his family trip. So wait. I love the fact that she called this chick asking if the girl was on a trip with Sean. Now, everybody who deals with Sean knows it's not monogamous. So, girl, why are you playing on my phone? And that girl told her, get off my phone, blah, blah, blah. You look like this. You look like that, whatever. And then Sean made her sit there and listen to the insults. Then it says, Sean hung up. He told Jonathan to tell me he wasn't with no girl on his family trip. After the FaceTime, then what? I went into the shower to cool off. Who was with you? Sean. I saw a black eye forming. Welts. Shoot, I don't know who got the black eye, her or him. Elaborate. Good job, Inner City Press. I need to get to the bottom of this. Yeah, I saw a black eye forming welts. I want to know who got the black eye. How were you in the shower? Sean was in his pants. He slapped me. I fell to the ground of the shower. And then what? I was exhausted, so I just sat there. Sean said, just put some ice on it and put an outfit on. Oh, so she had the black eye. Got it. I don't know why you thought you could attack the man who beat down Cassie on video and paid $100,000 to make that tape go away and leave unscathed. Well, I bet you won't do that again. Or will you? Sean said, just put some ice on it and go put on an outfit. An outfit, prosecutor says, lingerie and heels. Sean was using my phone to play pornography. He texted Anton on my phone, and my phone was screen mirrored to the TV. Sean texted, hey, what are you doing? Sean scrolled up and saw Anton's message about our mutual friends. Oh, you about to get your tail beat again. Oh, girl, he about to wrangle you in between that washer and dryer. I was wondering when it was coming. But again, so what we're now at the testimony. I'm trying to get a membership. I don't ever want to be out again. Oh my God, I love you. Thank you, Latasha. Yep, you can just hit that join on you can hit that join when you go to my channel page. There's like join is one of the options. But this is Doris Grant said, this is the most craziest woman I've ever seen in my life. This can't be on the same day. I hear you. I hear you. He then forced her to do a freak off. Yeah, this is horrid. Yes, it is the same day because the prosecutor said that in the opening. Sounds like a telenovela, don't it? Yep, the prosecutor said that in the opening. The prosecutor had said he beats her and then on the same day makes her have an FO. I wonder if that is Because she also testified previously that at times that was her way of apologizing to him. I know it sounds crazy. So I almost wonder if he was requesting it after she, slammed his head into the marble countertop and then chased him around the house and threw candles and glass at him. Okay, Jade Ramey. Yeah, I got it. Jade Ramey. Jade is a pretty little thing. The sequence of events honestly doesn't make sense. Yeah, they beat each other. Why doesn't? What part doesn't make sense, hon? Somebody said, case dismissed. He did not force her to do ish. Irk Owen is saying. Kay Foy said, I'm confused. This can't be happening. Yes, Kay, it's happening. Andre. Okay, Andre. Okay. Andre is saying there's no proof to this story. It's her testimony against his. If he wants to get on the stand, he can tell his version of the story. But I think there are very few women in this world that would get on the stand and volunteer in an S trafficking case the fact that they attacked their boyfriend after finding out he was on vacation with a much younger woman, and then they chased each other through the house throwing candles and glass. This is just, y'all, we have less than 1,000 likes. Please help me get those likes up and hit that subscribe. We are so close. I need like 500 more subscribers to get to 65K. We can do it together, guys. This is just, I need 500 more subscribers to get to 65,000. We can do it. Lord, it said, Lord have mercy. All right, let's see. When are they done with Jane? So today they're trying to, the reason it's going late today is because they're trying to finish the direct so that tomorrow the cross-examination starts. And boy, oh boy. All right. So Anton is one of the hookers, okay? So the issue is they were just chasing each other through the house, throwing glasses and candles and such at each other. And then he blacked her eye and slapped her when she got in the shower. Then she's in lingerie and heels, and Sean was using her phone to play porn when he texts Anton, the stripper, and the phone was mirrored to the TV when Sean texted. And so he said, hey, what are you doing? Sean scrolled up and saw Anton's message about our mutual friends. Sean asked me how the mutual friends were. I said, I don't know. Why did you lie? We were on a break. I didn't think I needed to say that. Anton showed up. I moved my hair so that my injuries couldn't be seen and used makeup like Sean told me to. Jane, I greeted Anton and tried to be polite. I asked him how his day was. Sean was giving me his evil stare. Sean said, I need to talk to you. We went into the guest bedroom. What happened there? He said he wanted to know about the mutual friend. Oh, guys. We got the mutual friend here. It said this whole darn trial needs a trigger warning for abuse survivors. Sure do. Ciao. And we getting warmer. Andre, I think you may be. All right, we've only got 900 likes. Let's see if we can get past 1,000. Hit that like and hit that subscribe, please. Y'all, I said, I think Diddy is on steroids. So what happens is that the drugs that he does, they give you this steroid-like behavior. So powder absolutely does that. Stimulants do that. I don't know about like Molly and X. I don't know about those. I'm unfamiliar. I'm unfamiliar with powder too, but powder is the same as Adderall. They're chemical makeup. So that's why when I take too much, I try to beat people up. So I don't do that anymore. So yes, some shorty be wild and wants to be punished. The violence is overkill. So wait, you were scared to say no to a freakoff. Oh, I gotta shake the baby oil for that one. Classy said, so you were scared to say no to a freakoff, but you weren't scared to say to beat that tail. Now, don't get me wrong, he deserves it. So when I agree, Andre, that certain things are going to, yes, coming off drugs makes you wild. I agree certain things are going to confuse the jury for sure. Yes, it's a broke down soap opera. That's correct. Like, how was he going to get him to the Greek? Not try to beat people up. Yeah, I did try to beat people. Get that Astroglide going. Do I know when KK turned? No, I don't. I just know she's not testifying. Yeah, excellent point. Classy, so true. Jury is going to have some thoughts. I want to put that, Classy, I want to put your comment back up. All right, let's see if you got an update. All right. So what happened there? He said he wanted to know about the mutual friend. I told him that I went to Vegas with this rapper and his girlfriend, and I saw Anton having sex with another woman. First of all, where did you see that happening? Oh, maybe she was participatory without Diddy. I had a feeling a story of her with an ex-worker might come about. Oh, okay, let's keep going. She said, I went to, and I saw Anton having sex with another woman. What did Sean say? He said, do you have this porn star having something over me? Oh. Because, okay, now it makes sense because Diddy is frightened someone's going to do him like he does everybody else, trying to blackmail people. So he said, do you got this porn star having something over me? Did you take substances, Jane? Yes. Right around this time, Sean told me, take this effing pill. You're not going to ruin my effing night. Go out there and suck dick. I said, I don't want to. What did he say? He said, is this coercion? Is this coercion? Y'all really believe he said that? Seriously. Does that even sound like Diddy? Does that hit the subscribe button, y'all, please and thank you. Classy, at this point, if I was on the jury, I would have stood up and said, not guilty. I can't take this no more. That is how I felt in the courtroom day one listening. I said, this is very stupid. I said, I'm out of here. This is very stupid. So you want us to believe that she said, yes, I took drugs, and that Sean then told you, take this effing pill. You're not going to ruin my night. Go out there and suck dick. And I said, I don't want to. And he said, is this coercion? Is it? Who talks like that? Now, if you told me he was on crack, I would believe you. Because first of all, crackheads, oh yeah, they be having superhuman strength and they be thinking anything and everything is possible. So crack, I could see that. Their personalities change. It's just a whole rigmarole. But yeah, Sunday, she's working for the defense. That's what's all it. She listened to everything Sean said. She listened to everything Sean said except for leave him the hell alone. Oh, thank you, H. I'm glad you're loving it here. Tuning in late. Y'all, oh, JP Mills, you missed it, honey. You missed it, but it's okay. I'll reenact it for you. Un momento. I'll scroll it. Let me just scroll on up so you can see. So this is Jane. Jane has taken the stand. She's had quite a day. She's told us about so much happening in her life, and the gist of where we're at now is she told a story about it seems to be the first time he was physical with her, and that was because she slammed his head into a marble countertop and then started throwing glass and candles at him. So then he started chasing her. She ran into the bathroom, the bedroom, and so forth, and he kicked in each door, and then he slapped her. And apparently he blacked her eye. And then he told her, put on some lingerie or something like that. And she puts on a teddy and calls the hooker Anton over. Well, subsequently, she's in Vegas for some reason with friends, and she sees Anton having sex with someone else. What I want to know is, where are you that you just see people freely doing it to each other? Are you at an S club, like an X club? Is this like a swingers club? Like what's taking place? I feel like that actually would be very relevant as well to the defense from the perspective of, could it be she was at that club doing freakoffs, just her without Diddy, as in her and a strange man, her and a prostitute? I don't know. But what she just told us is that Diddy found out that, she was communicating with Anton, the stripper, when she was in Vegas, and he was trying to find out, I guess, how much she communicates with him. And then, what did he do? Did he slap her and she started crying? She cries. She kind of cries a lot. It says, oh yeah, no, she's not crying at this point. Sean asked how she knew the mutual friend, and Comey said, well, why did you lie? And Jane said, well, we were on a break. I didn't think I needed to say it. That sounds like we were on a break means you were messing with or dating somebody. Was it Anton? Did she start fucking the stripper? Oh, baby. No. If she starts screwing the sex worker one-on-one on her own on a girl's trip to Vegas, the prosecution needs to put in a letter of resignation right now. Right now. Right now. All right, so then it says, we were on a break. I didn't think I needed to say it. Anton showed up. Showed up to the house. So now she's going back to the day at the house when they were wrestling and fighting and terrorizing one another. Diddy then told her to go throw on some lingerie. She did. And then the male hooker comes and she covers her bruises so that she can get to work, I guess, doing her job, as Diddy called it. Then it said, Diddy had asked, and she said, oh, I told him I went to Vegas with this rapper and his girlfriend, and I saw Anton having sex with another woman. And then he said, do you have this porn star having something on me? And then Comey asked, did you take drugs? And she said, yes. Right around this time, Sean told me, take this effing pill. You're not going to ruin my effing night. Go out there and suck some dick. I said, I don't want to. And he said, is this coercion? That's the part where I'm pretty sure she's lying, because no one speaks that way, including not Diddy. Coercion? I don't even know the last time I've used that word outside of this case. Comey said, then what happened? What happened to the pill? Well, she swallowed it, I would think. Yeah. What kind of question? What happened to the pill? I consumed it. I performed oral on Anton. I felt sick. I wasn't even in my own body. I felt disgusted. I felt terrible. How did it end? When Anton finished, I excused him and I tried to put on a good face. Girl, why are you putting on a good face? That man just knocked you in your face. You don't have to put on a good face. You let him see the face he just knocked around. That's the face that he gets, ma'am. Hit that. Somebody said the prosecutors need to be suspended without pay. Here's the thing, you guys, you have to keep in context the fact, geez, they just added Jane Doe in April. They added her like a month ago. The defense was kicking and screaming. They were upset about, they just added her. In other words, she was not necessary to win this case at all. The offenses that her testimony is supposed to help prove up are the same ones as Cassie. And at this point, I'm going to say, I think that Cassie's a little better of a sympathetic witness. If you're going to sympathize with anybody, it's not going to be, what is it? It's not going to be the girl running around town hanging out with hookers. Yes, somebody said it's stupid. It's bad. Court adjourned for the day. Hit that gavel. Okay, let me just double check. Hold on. And if so, I want to read you the rest. Yeah, she was just at it, guys. That's why I'm so frustrated. Because so many people were like, you shouldn't have behaved that way. You shouldn't have talked about her. No, y'all. I never in my wildest dreams did I think it would be this bad. But okay. Oh, we got a little more. We got another one. It said when Anton finished. Diddy. How did it end? When Anton finished, I excused him and I tried to put on a good face. But Sean called me a whore. He called me a whore. And then it says, after he left, he sent his security with money to me for Anton. It was $10,000 or $12,000 in cash for Anton and the 4 damaged doors. What did you do with part of the money? I Ubered $3,000 or $4,000 to Anton. Somebody said this is a Hustle and Flow movie vibe. Girl. I need to save this. Hold on. This is so crazy. Girl. Anton. Y'all don't think the defense is about to elicit testimony from this lady that on look, because when she says this part, I told him I went to Sean asked me how the mutual friends were, and I said I didn't know, probably how old they were, and she said I didn't know. He said, why did you lie? She said, well, we were on break. I didn't think I needed to say it. Anton showed up. In other words, we were on break, so maybe she's just saying we were on break, so I was able to go to Vegas. It wasn't a big thing. He texts Anton on my phone. Y'all, if the defense calls Anton and Anton says the two of them were screwing in Vegas, I'm going to yelp. Yelp. Do you hear me? All right. So it appears there's still, so it appears that they're still going. I want to share with you opening statement. It says defense is going to tear her apart. Y'all, it is like a Tubi movie. Y'all hit that like, please, and hit the subscribe. Defense is going to tear her butt apart. It is. They are. All right, we're going to switch up. I want to show you, this is more of the opening statement from the defense talking about specifically Jane's behavior. You know, I'm ADD, so I ain't got time to read a whole bunch of, I don't like reading or seeing a whole bunch of words on a page. But here's what we got. I hate that I have to look over to the side, but all right, here we go. It says thumbed up the live stream. Thank you. There are so many questions. All right, here we are. Jesus. Jeez Louise. This screen is not doing well. All right, here we go. We're going to adjust it here. The prosecutor needs to be suspended without pay. I'm going to pull that down. All right, so this is, sorry guys, that it's way over here. I want to make sure that I read this for you. This is the defense describing more of the toxicity between Jane and Diddy. It said her jealousy drove her to make moves. Hold on. To make the moves that she made. I'm in the middle of the page. It says the jealousy of other women in his life was one of, in the life was one of hers. Seeing the other women that he would be on social media post with or otherwise drove her to try and be in first place and made her more, and to make herself more desirous of their time together. This was the way to get, this was the way to get there. And the evidence will show you that it's simply not a crime. The government also told you about a night a year ago where Jane hit Combs. Here, I'm gonna put this on the screen big so y'all can read it. Y'all need to see my big old face. Here we go. There it is. 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Here you go. Here you go. Where Jane hit Combs. All right, here we go. This is the bottom. It says, once again, as I said, this was a night born out of jealousy. You'll hear, as you've already heard, that he also hit her back. But what you didn't hear was that the start of the fight. She was overcome by jealousy that night, that she slammed his head down on their kitchen counter. This is how the fight started that night. I do not want to justify the assault, but I simply am here to tell you the evidence will show you that it starts because she slams his head on her kitchen counter. And you're also going to hear that less than a month, or approximately a month after this assault, an incident of DV occurs at her home. She flew to Combs' home in Miami. Yeah. She flies to Diddy's Miami home from LA, unannounced and unexpected. Now, we know a man like Diddy, the last thing he wants is a pop-up girlfriend. And more importantly, let me shut up. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. Girl, you are next. You lucky you didn't get stomped out by that security, because you are a trespasser, honey. It says, and less than a month after he allegedly punched her, after that assault, there was an incident of DV at her home. You see how they're calling it DV? They're saying, nope, it's not sex trafficking. It's DV. Said she flew to his Miami house. She called an escort and had what I expect her to say was one of her best hotel nights that she has ever had with any of their regular escorts. Oh, I think that's where she was talking about she wanted to make it up to him. That might have been the All-Star night. Well, she was planning an All-Star night, y'all. That's where she'd have like multiple guys and they'd jizz in her and flip her around, and she'd have on her heels and her baby oil. And I mean, it would be of Olympic proportions. Olympic jizz fest. She called it the All-Star night. It says, now during the testimony of both Cassie and Jane, expect the government is going to put in a bunch of tapes, the so-called freakoffs, however you'd like to, whatever you call them. These depict what we've been telling you about him and one of his girlfriends and a man. These videos, they're trying to refer to them as, as threesomes. And it says, these videos, we believe, are powerful evidence that the conduct was consensual and not based on coercion. I was making sure. I guess it's just, all right. No, it was just that one incident. I'm incorrect. I thought there were 2 times that she got physical. But no, it was the one time. And it was a time allegedly that the defense is claiming she started it. Yeah. A year ago. No. Okay. Wait. No, that is the second one. It said the government, it says at the bottom here, the government also told you about a night a year ago where Jane hit Combs. Once again, as I said, it was a night born out of jealousy. You'll hear that he also hit her back. Yeah, but you didn't hear the start. Okay, that was the jealousy fight. Seeing other women on social media. She would see that he was with another woman and her girlfriends and traveling. Yeah. Ciao. But the government, okay, I highlighted this part though in yellow. It says the government told you about a phone call they had in November of 23. I expect the evidence will show you that even after this call, she continued. I think that's supposed to be the call where she felt like he was just really promising and making promises to her that they could have quality time, which if you're new here, the government is claiming that he fraudulently trafficked her by lying to her and telling her he was going to give her more quality time in order to get her to do it to the sex workers. And I just feel like if that is the standard, many husbands will be going to jail. Husbands will be going to jail because they frequently hit those likes. Yeah, hit that subscribe, guys. They frequently will lie and say, oh, yeah, we could spend quality time. Sure. I'm just waiting to see if there's any motions or anything that are being argued. No. Diddy called me a whore. I'm not a whore. I'm a nice girl. Yeah. Yeah. Let me just make sure. Okay. Washington Post. Okay. Let me just make sure I haven't missed any updates. This is just insane. Okay. Live updates. Jesus. 6 minutes ago. So it's basically the same. Okay. It's saying here, we can share this one. What is it? Oh, there we go. Let me add this. There we are. All right. This is saying that Jane, all right, the update for the day, it appears, is that, oh, we got a little testament. Where? Come on. Where did it? Hit that like, y'all, and hit that subscribe. Yes, please. All right. This is Jane. Jane said, Combs kept punching me in the June 2024 fight. It says the June 2024 fight escalated quickly, Jane testified. After throwing candles at Sean Combs, she ran into the master bedroom. Combs chased after her and broke down the door. She ran and hid in the closet. Combs followed her there. As she tried to run out of the room, Jane said Combs kicked her in the back of the leg, causing her to fall. The hip hop mogul then put her in a chokehold. At one point, Jane punched Combs and he retaliated forcefully. I knew there was a punch in there. See, there was a punch. So he punched her. She punched him and he punched her back. And apparently his punch left a mark. It said, Jane punched Combs and he retaliated forcefully. He started punching my head. He started kicking me. He started saying all types of things and he just kept punching me. Jane said she stole his phone and called a girl she believed Combs was sleeping with. And Combs in turn pinned Jane to the ground and forced her to listen to his other girlfriend insult Jane. I told her to shut up and that he was beating my ass right now. And he immediately hung up. Order in the court. Order in the court. What the hell is this, y'all? It's giving what's love got to do with it? Katrina, you're hollering Diddy when I should be a voice actor. Oh, maybe I should think of that. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, go ahead. Finish what you were going to say. The last thing a guy like Diddy wants is a crazy chick showing up at his house. Yes, unless she was threatened to be unalived, someone saying, I don't see how this can stick. I agree. Because the thing of it was, Cassie was threatened quite a few times, quite frequently, that she would be unalived. Why am I mocking her? Oh, D-Nice. I don't know if you're new here, but I am using this voice because number one, this is where I entertain. The law is very, very boring. And secondly, this sounds ridiculous. So I'm using a ridiculous voice. I also use a ridiculous voice for Diddy. Like when he said, is this coercion? Is this coercion? Yeah. Because what? No. I see the misrepresentation. Wait, you're not telling the other girl? Yes, she told the other girl, he's beating my ass. Like she's going to come over there like a go-go Power Ranger and save your black behind. Oh, sorry. I don't know what she is. I don't know what her race is. My bad. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm just here. I'm here so I don't get fined. Somebody said, I'm done. Now, ain't no damn victim if you're consenting to all this BS. Also, if you're laying hands and provoking, keep in mind, y'all, she punched this man and shoved his head into the marble countertop after seeing the Cassie video. The Cassie video had already been out at this point. Wait, not you telling me there? Yeah, we got a problem here. She's the perpetrator of this DV. And the thing is, honestly, it does seem like here she keeps egging him on. Like, I think the defense is going to counter by, currently the prosecution is saying, well, anytime she would complain about the freakoffs, he would then say, all right, so do you want to break up? Like, he would threaten to break up with her, which in turn was financial coercion. That's what they're saying. Well, I could see the defense saying, no, he wanted to break up with her because she was fucking annoying. She was annoying. She pretended that she was fine with the rules and the understanding that he had other women, but then she was jealous and she would consistently get upset about it. So he wanted to break up. Arguably, he wanted to break up because he was tired of her nagging and complaining. And honestly, I think that there's a lot of men on that jury, and I think men would understand that. All of them probably got a nagging wife at the house. All of them. They probably all sick of their wives. This was it was a lot. It was, what a day. Let me just triple check that I'm pretty sure we're done. But hit that subscribe. Share this on Facebook. Share this, Twitter. Do I honestly think this is hurting the prosecution? Absolutely. Yeah, I do. Because this form of trafficking that they're trying to prove up in this case is so unique and not traditional. So when there's a unique interpretation of a law as applied to facts, it really requires jurors to really jump through a bunch of hoops that they're probably not generally prepared to do or expected to do. So I say that to say, so what's the recap to this? Oh, I'll give it to you just a second. So I say that to say they very likely have created a gray area for Cassie's case, because if this is supposed to be what trafficking is, it's not at all. I won't say it's not at all. The similarity is the freakoffs for sure, but the financial oppression, not the same, very different. And watch, on cross, the defense is going to establish all her income sources and demolish the concept that she is being coerced financially with the threat of the roof over her head. They're going to show that she's probably making thousands. She's probably making 20,000 or more a month on OnlyFans. Plus, she gets child support. Plus, nobody told her to take 100% of her allowance and go rent a house. That is a choice. Most people are surface level. Yeah. So when you are trying to get somebody, like if someone's concept of trafficking is something like how I mentioned, like the massage parlors and how they may keep those girls locked up in there. Everyone knows, like, yes, that's trafficking. If that's your concept, and then you're turning around and you want someone to apply the same concept to this beautiful woman who was, a music and entertainment star who was able to freely go wherever she wanted, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about Cassie. They may have difficulty getting there. And what happens is if the jury has difficulty understanding the facts as you guys are applying them to the law, then the jury's going to say reasonable doubt. They're just going to be like, that don't make sense to me. Reasonable doubt, reasonable doubt, reasonable doubt. I think this jury is going to have difficulty seeing a $10,000 allowance as a coercive step as opposed to a blessing. I do. There's a Amazon warehouse worker who makes way less than that per month on that jury. There is a massage therapist makes way less than that per month. But I just really think that when you ask them to jump outside of the box of how they would usually consider a crime, like our everyday lives, then that's how reasonable doubt creeps in. And here's the challenge with this case. They're asking the jury to do that on many, many of the charges. The kidnapping is very different. Most people, when they're kidnapped, don't show up to work on Monday for their boss. I believe she was absolutely kidnapped and kidnapped twice. Secondly, most people aren't kidnapped by their boss 2 times. I think she was absolutely kidnapped when they took her and made her do that lie detector each day. Capricorn Clark. I think she was also kidnapped when he took her at Pow Pow Point to go try to unalive Kid Cudi. But I think the average person, when they think of kidnapping, ain't thinking about that. The arson was different. But yeah, so those are the kinds of things. No mistrial. It says, I think it's an insult to the jurors to get on the stand crying about possibly losing housing when you're still sitting on $6,000 a month. Hey, yeah. Plus, now she's doing OnlyFans, and I think we can agree it's not a lot. The type she does, she's not actively having sex, right? So the type that she does is probably more like modeling, in which case, and that's another 20. That's probably another 20,000 a month she's making. So you're getting 26,000 a month from those sources. And then you're getting, and we're just estimating her child support. We don't know. And then you're getting another 10 from Diddy. So 36,000 a month. How are you financially being coerced again? They could have went a different route. Yeah. But again, remember, I had also said, I was like, where is the physical stuff? I was like, surely they're not just going with fraud and coercion as the grounds for the trafficking. But now today, it makes perfect sense why they did not lead with the physical stuff. Because she started it. She started it. They can't come out the gate telling you that she knocked Diddy in the head after seeing the Cassie video go public. Who's still paying for OnlyFans? I don't know, but hers is expensive. I believe the prosecution is using this weak witness because others that were stronger settled. Well, I definitely think Gina settled. I definitely think Gina settled. They need to find Gina. They need to find the money trail. What sucks is if they can't find Gina's money trail and all of that, they're not going to be able to get him on that. Leslie, that's not correct. I actually pulled certain records. That's a misnomer. I don't think that amount is correct. Yes, she's renting the house. That's why I'm talking about it. Leslie, the amount that you're referring to is for another son, another child. How's Mims doing, if I don't mind me asking? He's hanging in there. He's going to feel better once he gets his housing stuff situated, which we're crossing our fingers will happen today. So it says, what does it say? What is it? Yeah, she knocked it in the head and she went to town on him. She started throwing glasses and candles, and she said, I was furious. I was mad. And she told him, F you, Diddy. Says, I feel Cassie is more sympathetic because she left all of that to be treated correctly. Whereas Jane was there until the end. Jane's plan was to be there till the end. Jane wasn't never going to leave that man because Jane probably wants to be like a wife and have like a stable financial environment. Oh, thank you, Lacey. Thank you so much for that live. It says the prosecution is so bad. Anybody could have represented Diddy. Is this the best we have to offer? The feds have a 98% conviction rate, and this prosecution is a 2%. Girl, Lacey. Somebody said Gina and Aubrey settled. Well, I don't know. No, I'm not saying anybody has 2 sons. I'm not saying that. Y'all are talking about, I see what you're talking about. I can't talk about that. Why can't they find Gina? She's posting regularly on IG. Oh, I don't know. But see, I don't believe that they can't find her. I believe that they don't want her and they don't need her. So here's my thoughts on Gina. Gina has been subpoenaed. As a result, she's legally obligated to show up. However, I've said this from the beginning, which is that Gina would be a star witness for the government. You don't ever want a disgruntled star witness. She could ruin the case for the entire government side. Therefore, it's probably better to not call Gina if they can't find her and if she doesn't want to testify and all of this, rather than have her get on the stand and do the whole I don't recall, or she could come up with a whole bold-faced lie. So I believe the government knows exactly where she is, and I believe they don't want to call her because in the indictment, there is nothing for Gina to prove up that any of the other witnesses have not already proven. So in other words, Gina's testimony would simply be redundant, and you certainly don't want a redundant witness who's not going to be as strong as the others or crazy, like Jane, who is Looney Tunes telling this story about how she gets mad. Jane tells a story today in conclusion about how she's upset because she finds out Diddy is out with a girl 25 years younger and takes her with his family to Utah. So she is angry because all she's, used for is her vaginal hole. It probably looks like this. Vaginal hole there. And she's tired of being used for her viscosity levels and her Kegels. And she wants to go to Utah. She wants to ride them horses. She wants that high altitude air. She wants to smell and ride with the cowboys. And she wants to see a Mormon or two and hold them and hug their hands and say hallelujah together. She wanted that trip to Utah, and that's all she really wanted. And I don't see why Diddy couldn't see that is all she wanted, was that trip to Utah. And if he had just given her that trip to Utah, she wouldn't have had to beat on him like she did. She wouldn't have had to knock him upside the head and shove his head into the marble and then punch him and throw candles and glass at him. He made her do it. He made her do it. He should have took her to Utah. Said the Kegels, baby, are gone. Said, I feel like maybe she's just dumb and really helping Diddy's case. I think maybe he's paying her. I was going to call it tuition. I wish she was in school, bless her heart. Maybe he's paying her rent so that she would come up here and say this. Maybe he knew what she was like and thought, oh, there's no way. There's no way her testimony will get me convicted. She could have afforded Utah. Yeah. She wanted to ride on them horses. He could have took her to Utah. Okay, I'm getting out of hand. Okay, thank you, G.I. Jane. I'm going to get it. We need our own justice sometimes. All right, it's crazy that he's exposing his kids to all of these women. No. So that's the thing. That's why the women are getting really, they would be very territorial about him bringing the kids around because he doesn't do that. Cassie was hurt for years because he never really brought Cassie around the kids. Hardly at all. Now, it's a bit different with this chick because Kim has passed away. But that's really what triggers them is they want to play house and play family. And these women know, look, if he can't see you as a mother figure to his kids, especially his daughters whose moms have passed, then there's no way he would ever choose you to marry you. And these women want either marriage or a role where they are like with Hugh Hefner, how he had like the number one girlfriend. They want to be that number one girlfriend, child. Yeah, she one of those horses. I'm sorry. Did he get hurt? He did. Yeah. Did he? Do you think she was upset that Diddy did not pay the $10K for her tape, but paid 50 plus for Cassie? Well, we don't know if he didn't. I'll need to read the transcript tonight when it comes out. I don't know that he didn't pay the 10 for the tape. It was just said that he just said, get the legal team on it. So they were going to negotiate whatever. But I did find it interesting that after he whooped up on her, right? So he whoops up on her. Now, to be fair, she starts the fight. So she knocked him upside the head, and then he fought back, right? So they get to tussling and all. The way in which, remember, he had someone earlier testify. It was one of the white guys that was a personal assistant who was accused of grabbing the chef by her wrists. and, you know, telling her like, stay in your effing lane. Well, Diddy had then advised him, hey, man, you can't be putting your hands on a woman. If you're going to do that, you need to go buy her a gift and apologize. You need to go buy her a gift. So I was nothing but tickled when after he whoops on the girl like that, he tells her, go get dressed, go put on some lingerie. And his gift for her was another dick. Another dick. And she took it. She took the dick. She took the D. Girl, you just had this man whoop you all upside your head. And now you're doing it to a prostitute to make it up for. I guess that's your way of apologizing. Well, how's he apologizing? I'm so perplexed. I am confused. Is it for her or him? The prostitutes, she has to perform with them, but he wants to watch. He never participates. Take that, take that, take that. That's right. He never participates. He just watches. And I think that's because he doesn't want people to have anything over him. Oh, hold on. We ain't done. Okay, now it says, okay, we already had that. He kept punching me part. I want to make sure you guys can see this. Oh, there's more. I thought they weren't going to let up on this girl. No, because the prosecution wants to keep going to make sure they can be done with her. What is the reason for Jane's testimony? That's my point. It's to prove a second count of trafficking, a second count that they don't need. Because at the end of the day, y'all, with these facts, if they're not going to get a guilty for Cassie, they sure as hell ain't getting it for this chick. Give me a break. But so the update, it says, after the brutal assault, Jane says Combs ordered a freakoff. That's what I was just explaining. He says, you're not going to ruin my effing night. Combs allegedly told Jane after the couple got into a physical fight on June 18th of 2024. Again, this is after the Cassie tape was released. She thought, could take him, and decided she wanted to tussle with Diddy by slamming his head into their marble counter. And then that wasn't enough. Then picking up glasses and candles and throwing at him. Jane admitted to instigating the fight, which resulted in her receiving a golf ball sized welt in a black eye. Combs continued assaulting her, she said, as she tried to take a shower to cool down. He told her to put some ice on her injuries and to put on the outfit. Jane recalled she understood that to mean lingerie. Jane obeyed Combs' orders, she said. After getting dressed, she found Combs watching porn and texting Anton, the male hooker. Anton arrived at Jane's LA home as dawn was breaking, and Combs' ex-girlfriend said on the stand after inviting Anton in, Combs pulled Jane to the side and told her to take the effing pill of ecstasy. Jane told him, I don't want to. And he said, is this coercion? According to her. And she said, I just looked at him. Y'all, there's no way he said, is this coercion? As though like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm not ex-trafficking you, or don't think I'm ex-trafficking you. Who talks like that? Is this coercion? No. That's after he told her, you're not going to ruin my effing night. Get it together. Now they're saying evidence is being shown to the jury of 4 broken doors at Jane's house. Jane, who's testifying under a pseudonym, said she took the images to get repair quotes after he kicked them down after a fight where she busted him upside the head. There's also a video of Jane that appears to show bruising on her face. I believe it. She said she punched him, and apparently he punched her too. After their fight, though, Combs, being the benevolent, what's the word? The benevolent philanthropist that he is, he sent her roughly $10,000 to $12,000 via his bodyguards, Jane said. The money was for her to pay the hooker and repair the doors. She testified that she paid the hooker $3,000. Well, that was generous. How many rounds did you do? 3,000. If it was only one round, girl, you shouldn't have gave him more than $1,000. The rest of that, You should keep that for your doors and your pain and suffering. Pain and suffering. Pain and suffering. Also, the government, y'all, has another day to respond to the mistrial motion. So they're going to have to get that response in tonight, alleging prosecutorial misconduct. Again, same grounds as the last time. And this time it's that the government witness, Brianna Bongolan, alleged in her 2024 lawsuit that Diddy dangled her off the building. All right. So let's see. I think they're wrapping up. This is just, y'all, hit that subscribe, please. Y'all, you're not, okay. Can y'all share this with your friends and family? Because I need 400 more subscribers to get to 65,000. I think we can do it together. Hit that subscribe, guys. Don't forget, you can always go to my website, SymoneRedwine.com, to schedule a consultation with me anywhere in the nation. Okay, I need to see if there's more because this is crazy. I know. 5, 4, 2. Okay. It's weird. Okay, I want to make sure we haven't missed anything else because this is insane and I'm going to need some happy hour. What's happening? The tweets ain't tweeting. Where? What happened? All right. It was an hour ago. I'm just checking for updates right now. Y'all, this is a lot. I think that if the prosecution ends with this witness, the jury is going to be very confused. I think they're going to be extremely, extremely confused because Lord knows I am. Y'all, the fact that they are literally alleging trafficking by coercion by fraud, because he promised to spend more quality time with her and didn't. Are you kidding me? It just sounds ridiculous. Absolutely. This was unnecessary is the best way to describe it. Unnecessary. Oh, we got some more. Hold on. 5 minutes ago. Hold on. Oh, we got more. Oh, here we go. Yes. Okay, here we go. Bam. It says, let me make sure you guys can see it on your end. So this is delusional to charge trafficking for dough. Yes, I get Cassie too. He promised trips, gifts, and rent. But Diddy though, see, he didn't say that he was offering that in exchange for no freakoffs. She never concretely, I think part of my challenge is that she never concretely pins down a time where he says, yes, I will, yes, I absolutely will. Ugh, this is really annoying. Yeah, I absolutely will stop asking you to do these, freakoffs and we can have quality time. No, it's her hope. It sounds very much like she's operating y'all on hope and a prayer. And she ain't got a praying grandma. I can tell you that right now. She ain't got no praying granny. All right, so here's what it says. Yeah. I don't know that the male entertainers were trafficked because there was no. So for trafficking, you have to have coercion. So the male entertainers weren't trafficked. That's why they're not either of the counts. There's 2 counts of trafficking for Jane and for Cassie. That's it. The prostitutes were prostituting. That's the charge for them. And there's a charge for them. So the prostitutes were prostituting. And, allegedly the implication is that, oh girl, both of the ladies were workers. All right. So it says, have you ever fixed your doors? This is after she got the money. No, there were other bills. Oh my gosh. This girl been running around with broke doors for over a year now after Diddy didn't kick in, despite him giving you 12 or 13,000, and you gave the hooker 3,000 of the money. I told you should have only gave that hooker 1,000. She needs to take a financial management class. She needs to go on back up to the community college, sis. I know you did one semester. Now it's time to start on the second. Just take a few of those classes. She said, no, there were other bills. Photos of the broken doors are now shown to the jury, but not on the screen in the public gallery. I want to see the broken doors. When did you next see Sean? A few days later. Why? I missed him. We were trying to have a Sunday fun day, but it was like tense. Did you and Sean talk about Jonathan? I think Jonathan is his security guard, I believe. I don't know who Jonathan is. Maybe Jonathan's another hooker. It says Sean FaceTimed Jonathan, asking him what he saw that night. For a moment, Jonathan saw me in the corner crying. Yeah, I don't know who Jonathan is. I don't know if he's security or what. He said, for a moment, Jonathan saw me in the corner crying. Then I shot a video of Sean and me out in the yard. Did you inadvertently film your injuries? Yes, my welts. And when you learned that Sean went to Wyoming, sorry guys, it was Wyoming, not Utah. And when you learned that Sean went to Wyoming, I was outraged. He was with another woman. Oh my God, object. The case is over. The case is over. This case is over. She literally says it. I was outraged. He was with another woman. Girl, is you slow? Yes, you are. It's now been determined. I want to see her IEP immediately. It could have been Jonathan Odie. It could have. I don't think so. No, I don't think it was Jonathan Odie because this was 2024. Kanye does have a place in Wyoming. So they were probably, that's what it was. You are right. It was to go see Kanye because Kanye was supporting him. And Kanye was yelling, Trump pardon him and stuff. No, so it's not Jonathan Odie because Jonathan, nobody would be running around with Jonathan Odie right now. He's nuts. No, you can't do that. He was with another woman. You know what it sounds like? There are so many instances where like the defense usually will try to say, oh, this woman wasn't actually R-worded. She is a scorned ex-lover. Now, she's not alleging SA here, technically. She's alleging trafficking that's along the same lines. But we also have the issue that they could very easily be like, she's just a scorned girlfriend. She literally said, I can't believe she said that. Oh, girl said, I was livid. He was with another woman. How long? 2 or 3 weeks. Then I saw his mother had been hospitalized. So I wanted to put what happened behind us to the side. He said, this was just too far for me. I said, but you had me in a box. You had me in a box. Yeah, we need it, you guys. We're gonna have to see her IEP. I want to know, what is she diagnosed with? Because it's something up in there. Something in that milk ain't clean, y'all. There's no way that she went into school for all 12 years of her education in a full-size bus. No way. Some of those buses were short. Some of them were short. Not all of them were yellow. There's just no way. It's just impossible. Hold on one second. This is annoying. Here, let me. Hold on. I'm trying to make it more visual. Hold on. Let me not do this, and I'm about to tear this whole thing up. Here we go. Aha. Oh, I see that. No, we're not about to do that. Okay, I see the problem. Hold on. Just got to adjust my screen. We got to read the rest of this because this is just, yeah, she's not all right. This poor lady. She's She's going to have a hard road to hoe. All right. So then it says, oh, yeah. So she says, and when you learned that Sean went to Wyoming, I was outraged. He was with another woman. Did you block him? Yes. Mind you, she says it as though she's surprised he's with another woman. And like, that's a problem. It's not supposed to be a problem. That's supposed to be the understanding. AUSA, how long? How long were they there? 2 or 3 weeks. And then I saw his mother had been hospitalized, and I wanted to put what happened between us to the side. But he said, this was just too far for me. I said, you had me in a box. Did you say the name of the rapper? Yes. I flew in a red eye to meet Sean. What rapper? I want to hear more about this rapper. Did you say the name of the rapper? You had me in a box. Oh, I guess in Vegas she was running around with a rapper. Oh, I wonder who that was. So then it says, did you say the name of the rapper? Yes. I flew on a red eye to meet Sean. And what did you do? We had a really nice time. Sean said, you could tell me when you're tired. And what did you say? I said, let's stop for now and see each other later. His demeanor changed. He said, a man spends all his money on you and you say you're tired? He threw water on me. He called me a bitch. He gave me an ecstasy pill. What happened? Sean was celebratory. He said, let's go. Did Paul come to Miami? Yes. Paul is the hooker. Paul, the prostitute. Paul, and Paul is actually, he has enough jobs as like to be a Jamaican, they say, because Paul is not just a prostitute. He is also a dancer, and he's a personal trainer. So Paul, the prostitute and personal trainer, one-stop shop. All right. So Paul did come to Miami, and it said, did Paul come to 2-Star? I don't know what that is. Oh, 2-Star Island, I guess. She said, yes. I was given a spray bottle, liquid Molly in my mouth. And then it said, I felt a surge of high octane sexual energy. Paul comes in and I greet Paul with that energy. Did you have sex with Paul in front of Sean? Oh, yes. Yeah. When was the last time you saw Sean in person? August 2024 at 2-Star. Did you have sex with Dawn in front of Sean at 2-Star? Yes. One last text message. And this is the last one that I'll ask you to look at. Okay. We rounding out. We're rounding out the hooker story. Oh, here we go. All right. One last text message that I'll ask you to look at. Did you go to New York to see him? No. Why not? He was arrested. Did you get a subpoena? Yes. I had to come in November 2024 and then January 2025 and then after. Did you see a therapist? 3 months now. Now, when she's saying, y'all, she had to come 3 times for the subpoena. The one was it was probably related to the first indictment, which came through in September of 24. And then there was a second indictment, which was January, meaning it was going back before the grand jury. So apparently they had her speak there. And then it says, then afterwards, she saw a therapist, and then it says, hold on, and make sure I haven't lost y'all. Oh, child. And then it says, do you have an attorney for this case? Yes. Who's paying? Sean. I'm still processing. Nothing further. Jurors, you may go. Adjourned. What the hell is this? Do you have an attorney in this case, and who is paying? Sean, I'm still processing. Processing what? Processing what? You are supposed to be his girlfriend, who is now trafficked. But you are having him pay for your lawyer. I bet I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I bet he's also paying for her attorney in her family law case because she definitely ain't managing her money properly for that. But when asked, why is he paying? Sean, I'm still processing. Processing what? Are you processing some checks? Are you processing some of your OnlyFans money? Is that what it is? You're just waiting for that once a month direct deposit to hit. I know how it is with the YouTube funds. The defense is letting this it show go on. Hardly no objections today at all. You are right. You are right. This transcript is going to be real interesting. Sunday fun day, hotel nights, F-offs. I mean, they have a name for all their activities. She's burying herself. Sasha Speaks says he's in jail. Jane is definitely Team Diddy. Jane would love to get up there and testify as she's doing today, and then Diddy be found not guilty, and then two of them ride into the sunset. What will happen to her life after this? It's going in a garbage can. It says, what will happen? Men will be repelled by this. I was thinking that nobody is going to want to shoot up that club. No. Oh, that was a sperm receptacle, baby. No, you're going to have to get all the tests done, first of all. All of them. That makes me think about how, like, when I was graduating law school, you know, in law school, you go to student health and get stuff done. And I wasn't going to have, my health insurance was ending because I was graduating, and I wasn't going to have new health insurance for 4 months. So I go to student health and I was like, yeah, I need testing. Let's get it all done. And they're like, yeah, have you ever had an AIDS test? And I was like, yeah, I get a pap smear every year. They were like, no, AIDS test. It was like, yeah, with my pap smear. And they were like, no, a pap smear only tests for this. I was like, wait a minute. You mean I've never had an STD my whole life? And at this point, I was like 24. They were like, or whatever it was, I don't know. And they were like, no, it means you haven't. I said, this was before Obamacare, and there were pre-existing conditions. I said, now listen, I'll take your little test, but I don't want to know the results, because I don't want you out here talking about I got a pre-existing condition, and then when I start my work job, I can't get no coverage to get rid of whatever I got. So, because she begged me, please take the test, take the test. I was like, look, I'm not doing it to nobody at this Cornell campus, so I'm not spreading whatever it is I may or may not have. But I took that test, and I said, don't call me with these results. That lady called me every week for like 12 weeks in the summer. I said, ma'am, I told you, don't you call me until I have health insurance, because this will be a pre-existing condition, because Lord knows what went on in there. And she said, I'm really not supposed to tell you this, but you're fine. And I was like, hallelujah, praise God. So I say that to say, this person may not have ever gotten tested too, because she didn't want the answers in the way that I really didn't want to know the answers if they were going to be bad. Plus, she was already itching and scratching, according to her. Thank you so much for joining, Latasha Jackson. She was already itching and scratching with those daily UTIs and all. She just probably figured, like, hey, if an antibiotic ain't going to get rid of it, then that's just that. It says that's insane. Thanks for the super chat. Y'all hit that subscribe as you come in. I need 400 more subscribers, please, to get me to 65,000. She said she's an informant. The feds have been watching him for a long time. They needed a honey trap. She already gets support, and she knows this celebrity dating game. The tap phone, and she kept notes. And she would keep these notes and only send them to herself. Some of the time she'd send them to Diddy. But you are right, and that is wild. Yeah. So somebody said, this is DV. That's crazy. The DV we saw today was her busting Diddy upside the head, which I said the prosecution is so bad anybody could have represented Diddy. Thank you so much, Lacey, for the super chat. Oh, yep, I read that one. It says, Whiskey My Yoga. She claims that she had been telling him that he had been abusive to her. Him asking her if it is coercion sounds like an abuser mocking his victim. Ooh, thank you, Whiskey. I did not think of it in that way. She claims she had been telling, but I don't know that she was saying she was abusive to him. I thought she was just talking about she didn't want to do the freakoffs. Prior to the story about her busting him in the head at the house, I hadn't heard anything about anything physical initiated by him. Unlike with Cassie. Thank you for that super chat. I write the jazzy perspective. Do I think that we over glorify the SDNY? For Jane to be a witness on the stand for so long is not matching up to what we thought. I sure do. And Jazzy, I also think, you know, when I saw it was all Caucasian women prosecutors, I was like, something's up there. Well, I feel like now I know why. There's no way any black male prosecutor that I know would touch this aspect, this Jane aspect. I'm not talking about Cassie. I'm not talking about the others. But this right here, no. They'd be like, man, get away from me with that. And me as a woman, I would be like, now y'all are doing too much. This is ridiculous here. And now a lot of people were talking about Nicole Westmoreland, the black woman on the defense. And they were like, she is a survivor of SA or of rape. Oh, sorry, of our word specifically. Grapes. I love grapes. But and they were saying, why would she join this team? Why? And it made me think, I don't know, maybe she was familiarized with facts such as these and was like, hey, look, on the defense side, defense attorneys, we like, because I used to do that work. We take on certain cases where we feel that the government has overcharged. We're excited to take on those cases because it's almost like, hey, listen, y'all overcharged. Now we're going to go free. Because you want your client to be charged for what they did or didn't do and what can be proven. You don't want them to be charged for being black or being wealthy or anything like that. So yeah, it's not matching up. Jessica Rabbit. Jessica says, would she do the FOs if he wasn't stringing her along like he cared? That's a great question. How is that different than the lover boy tactic, aka fraud commonly used by pimps? Well, I think the difference is for pimps, I could be wrong, but my understanding is the lover boy tactic isn't what's illegal. What's illegal is the pimping the person and the prostitution. So lying to a woman to get sex is illegal. Even lying, and we got to be more specific here. He's lying to her about quality time. That is insane. Literally. Lying about quality. I want to put for that reason, I'm going to put I'm going to go back to the transcript. Sorry, this is the opening statement. And hold on. And I just want you to see this because I was like, they lying. Surely. Yeah, no, here it is in yellow. The transcript. The government says, oh no, this is Mr. Garagos. But Mr. Garagos does say she was desperate to spend time with him, to be with him, and ultimately to give him something none of the other girlfriends that he was dating at the time were giving him, which is the freakoffs. Here we go. All right, I want to go up front to the part where the government was talking about Jane and the fraud and how he induced her with the fraud. I'm going the wrong way. Look, here we go. Lordy. We got y'all got to see this. I highlighted it. This is not 63. All right. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Here we go. All right, here we go. You know what? Nope, not here it goes. I'm going to show you this section. I pulled it up because I was like, what in the hell? Oh, I see the problem. Hold on. We're gonna come down. I'm gonna put let me show you instead. So we got one more. Y'all have to see this. I'm gonna read it verbatim because I was like, this is crazy. This is insane. Wait. We get the opening statements there. And then who is this? All right, I'm gonna find. Let me see if I can find. Let me see. I have the pick. Oh, 30. There we go. You got a 30. Here we are. Absolutely insane. All right, here we go. So I'm not going to read all the transcript. I'm just going to highlight the part that I was like, surely we've misunderstood, but we haven't. We have not. This is the transcript from the closing. I mean, the opening statement that was given by the government. It says, quote, the government is saying, the defendant continued asking Jane to have freakoffs and promising that if she did, they would spend quality time together. They would go on dates together. They would go on trips. That was what Jane wanted more than anything, a real relationship. So she agreed. She helped plan freakoffs and reach out to escorts. But even though the defendant promised her quality time and trips, he never delivered. Those were just lies he told to get more nights in dark hotel rooms with the escorts. In other words, that is their theory. That is their theory. Oh, no. And then she says, Jane tried to assert herself in small ways. She found two men who performed in porn, and she invited them to join the freakoffs. Hey, guys, come on, join us. That way, Jane could at least choose the other man that she was forced to be intimate with. So I think the force is what's going to be confusing. Yeah. And then it says the defendant gave Jane money and later started paying the rent for the house that she lived in with her child. That way, when Jane resisted the freakoffs and told him over and over she wanted to stop, he had the power to coerce her back into the hotel rooms. And just as he had with Cassie, the defendant threatened Jane with videos he recorded of her engaging in acts with the escorts. Now that's the coercion. Talk about that. Talk about that. Like what? That's what we need to be. Like if we're not talking about that, then what is we talking about? Here, And then it said the judge's instructions will. And then she says, "Oh yeah, that Jane was trafficked through force, fraud, and coercion." But here's the thing: the force, the physical stuff. If the physical stuff is that joint mutual combat domestic situation at the house where she busted him upside the head, I'm not seeing the Rico force related there or the force related to S trafficking there. That sounds absurd. It said, the government says, I expect you'll learn that fraud includes a lie about a material fact, coercion includes threats, and force includes violence. They will tell you how the defendant tried to control their lives from their homes to their careers, how the defendant used his control over them, his lies, substances, and threats, and violence to force and coerce them into having stuff with male escorts. put on a performance, and you will see videos. Oh, yeah. You'll see videos of Jane with bruising on her face days after he attacked her and forced her to do a freak off. Here's the thing, though. Jane hit him in the head, and she said she punched him in the face, too. It's not my fault. Jane might be a little, I can't describe her, but he might be a little brown. So with Diddy being brown, that might be why your punch didn't show as well as the others. You'll hear recordings. You'll hear, no. And this is just really ridiculous. It says you'll hear him try to manipulate Jane, though, into saying she wanted to have freak-offs. I want to hear that manipulation. I don't think I've heard that yet. You'll hear him interrupt Jane when she pushes back, and you'll hear the defendant's thinly veiled references to continuing to pay for her home in exchange for her silence. Some of you guys said that in the chat, that it is tampering with witness or it's bribery. He's paying her for her silence. Well, let me tell you, this was an Oscar-worthy performance. She deserves an Academy Award because I believe she told the truth, but the truth was just so gosh darn insane and nuts that it's probably going to work in Diddy's favor as it relates to the charge for Jane. It says you're going to hear him interrupt Jane and reference to continually to pay her house in exchange for her silence. And you'll see text message from the defendant sent to his chief of staff right after talking to Jane to make sure that Jane's rent would still be paid on time. Evidence will come into play. This is the prosecution saying this. It says, but by the end of the trial, when you've seen and heard all the evidence, you will see how it all fits together and how it proves the defendant led and controlled an enterprise that enabled him and others working for him to commit many crimes, that they coerced Cassie and Jane into acts with male escorts, including by having them travel to other states and countries so those acts would happen. And you will see how all of those crimes in the empire the defendant controlled were designed to fulfill his nasty desires and protect his reputation and keep his power. Yeah. That was a lot. In the end, above all, I think it is wild that the prosecution has decided they want to end on this note. We'll see how it goes. The good news is, I guess, depending on what outcome you want, is that every count has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and each count is evaluated differently. I'll talk more about that in another live, but they can find no trafficking for Jane, but yes for Cassie, or vice versa. They can say it didn't happen to Cassie, but it did happen to Jane. Same with the other offenses. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe. It says, can she use him for her gain because she's getting abused? I don't know that she's getting, I guess, financially abused. I can't join because you might hold me in contempt for staring at the judge. They haven't mentioned him saying that he would share Jane's video. I guess that's what they're going to get to tomorrow, but you're right. We haven't heard any blackmail. That's what I'm saying. I need something else. This woman was literally planning to be the last woman standing. That is literally why she was with him up until the day of his arrest. And hey, as far as I'm concerned, she's still with him because he's still paying her bills, paying her lawyer's fees, all of that. Yeah, she tosses glass and stuff at him. Can she sue him for her gain because she was getting abused? I wouldn't take the case. Didn't he threaten to release the tape to her boyfriend? I believe so. She had child support money to pay for a bill. She did. Yes, he's still paying her rent and he's paying her lawyer's fees. Historically, I've been taught our word was traumatic for women and it makes them not like sex. Cassie has 3 or 4 kids. This trauma isn't adding up. Oh, that's interesting. And this witness did say that it was starting to make her like immune to sex. Is he on trial for abuse? No. Didn't he abuse Cassie when he lied and still wanted to be in his house for free and get studio time for free? Not really. Sounded like she would have liked to go elsewhere. He told her she could leave. You don't get retro pay for this work. That's right. He told her multiple times, hey, well, let's just break up. Every time he tried to break up with her, she wouldn't let him. So far in the testimony, we've not heard of a single time when he's like, well, let's break up. And she's like, okay. Now, there were times when she said she blocked him. That was the one time when he took the other girl to Wyoming, probably to Kanye's, and apparently had his family with him, and her feelings were so hurt, and that's what prompted it and made her bust him upside the head and all. But yeah, I'm not seeing it, guys. Drop your questions below. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure what time. Make sure you hit the notification button so that you don't miss out. But thank you guys for joining me. I'm your legal bestie, attorney Symone, and this is Girl Is That Legal. If I get time tonight, I'm going to add chapters to this so that y'all can see. Oh, wait. Psych Michael, thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let me make sure I don't forget it. Brandy, the Southern girl. Thanks for joining the membership. And then we've got Sasha Joe says, hey, if you've already addressed it, what's the government's point in revealing that her lawyer is paid by Diddy? Great question. They're doing that because they want to take away the sting. Anything that if it were to only come out on cross would be like a damn. You want to go ahead and just put it out there, put out any bad facts, any major relevant and important bad facts. You want to go ahead and put that out there on direct because it takes away the sting and the power of dropping that bomb on cross-examination. Great question, Sasha Joe. All right, you said she's an informant. Yeah, and then Jessica Rabbit, I did. Yeah, the AKA fraud commonly used by. I don't know if the lover boy tactic is considered fraud legally under the law. Like, pimps can't go to jail for being lover boys. They can go to jail for hurting you, trafficking you, and other things. But like how pimps will be like, I got 5 girlfriends. Yeah, that's in. And they're lying to you and stuff. I don't think so. So I think there's a bit of a difference. But thank you guys for joining me. I'm your legal bestie. Remember, you can go to SimoneRedwine.com to book a consultation with me. And hit that like, subscribe, and the notification button on your way out. Thanks.